Tonight on Y News, 3 Chinese nationals with suspected coronavirus infection quarantined in Kalibo, Aklan. Imminent destructive eruption of the Taal Volcano more probable in the coming days, according to the Philippine Institute of Volcanology and Seismology. The Department of the Interior and Local Government warns businesses near the Taal Volcano's vicinity, including Tagaytay City, of possible closure if they continue to operate despite orders to cease operations. Motorcycle taxis considered illegal starting next week. And Ben 4 of Spades and SB19 win big at the 5th Wish Music Awards. Good evening. The Provincial Health Office of Kalibo in Aklan Province is on red alert status. Meanwhile, the World Health Organization warns hospitals of the possible spread of coronavirus worldwide. Aiko Miguel details why.
3 Chinese nationals were separately quarantined after they landed at Kalibo International Airport. They were suspected of having contacted the coronavirus infection. The Chinese were rushed to Dr. Rafael Tumbukan Memorial Hospital for medical examination. They arrived on separate dates, Friday, Saturday, and today. Authorities expect that more Chinese nationals will travel to different countries this January as they celebrate their Lunar New Year. The World Health Organization alerts all hospitals of the possible spread of the coronavirus on a global scale. The WHO warns countries to be extra cautious and man their international ports to prevent the spread of the coronavirus. There has been an increasing number of cases of coronavirus infection, not only in China but also in South Korea, Thailand, and Japan. The Philippines Health Department, meanwhile, assures the country's preparedness to prevent the spread of the virus.
Tayo naman may system ready na tayo, no? In fact, since nung panahon ng SARS, kung naalala ninyo, meron na tayong alert response systems.
The WHO has certain reminders to avoid getting sick. Make sure to avoid unprotected contact with sick people and with live farm or wild animals. Unprotected contact includes spitting in public and touching one's eyes, nose, and mouth. Avoid contact with people showing flu-like symptoms. Always wash your hands with soap and running water when hands are visibly dirty. If hands are not visibly dirty, wash them with soap and water or use an alcohol-based hand cleanser. Cover the nose and mouth when coughing and sneezing with tissue or a flexed elbow. Cook meat and eggs thoroughly. The WHO adds washing the hands can prevent one from contracting a disease. Wash your hands when caring for the sick, before, during, and after you prepare food, before eating, after toilet use, and after handling animals or animal waste. Aiko Miguel, UNTV News and Rescue, Manila.
The Philippine Institute of Volcanology and Seismology says it is probable that the Taal Volcano will erupt destructively in the coming days. What are the signs of an imminent devastating eruption? Asher Kadapan Jr. reports.
Several indicators of an imminent destructive eruption of the Taal Volcano were gathered by the Philippine Institute of Volcanology and Seismology, or PHIVOLCS, from Sunday morning until 8 a.m. today. According to PHIVOLCS data, continuous plume extending to a kilometer within the volcano's crater, as well as minor eruptions, were recorded. Emissions of sulfur dioxide amounting to over 4,000 tons per day increased from about 1,000 tons in the previous day.
Mataas po yan. Kung naalala niyo po sa mayon, yung ganyang values ay pumuputok ang vulkan. No? So may nagdidigas na shallow magma. So anytime, pag mababaw ang magma, maaari po itong pumutok na wala po tayong masyadong paunang babala. No?
PHIVOLCS Director Renato Solidum, on the other hand, clarifies the magnitude 4.6 shake recorded in Mabini, Batangas at about 9 o'clock last night was a tectonic earthquake. More than 600 earthquakes have been recorded, resulting to fissures seen in different areas near Taal Lake related to the rising magma under the Taal Volcano.
So baka lang kasi akala ng mga tao humuhupa lang, pero sa indikasyon na dumadami yung gas, diyan natin pinapakita maliban sa lindol at yung pamamaga ng bulkan na merong laman doon sa ilalim at baka yun ang maging dahilan ng mga biglaang pagsabog kasi open system na yung volcano.
PHIVOLCS strongly reiterates total evacuation within the 14-kilometer danger zone from Taal Volcano. Based on wind forecast of the Philippine Atmospheric Geophysical Astronomical Service Administration or PAGASA, should there be an eruption plume below 3 kilometers in height, ash will be drifted west and southwest of the main crater. If the eruption plume rises between 3 to 5 kilometers, ash fall will be experienced in parts of Cavite province. But with a major eruption in which the column exceeds a height of 5 kilometers, ash will drift over Metro Manila, Laguna, Rizal, and Northern Quezon province. Asher Gadapan Jr., UNTV News and Rescue, Quezon City.
The Department of the Interior and Local Government clarifies no commercial activity is allowed yet in Tagaytay City. Tourists are discouraged to visit the popular holiday destination. Rosalie Cos tells us why.
Mabuyo is one of those who still look forward to tourist arrivals in Tagaytay City despite the Taal Volcano crisis. Aside from farming, he earns a living as a tricycle driver to tourist destinations. But after Taal Volcano erupted, his income has decreased.
Malaking kaibahan mo ngayon. Wala akong eskarsyon na maging pasahero namin. At saka yung mga tanim, wala ko talaga. Pagka po, alam mo, linggo, minsan kumikita ko kami ng 1,000, ganyan. Ngayon po, 300 na lang.
According to the local government of Tagaytay, since the volcanic eruption on January 12, relief workers have been visiting Tagaytay and not tourists.
Ngayon, wala pa ring umaakyat na namamasyal na related sa tourism. Meron magbigay ng tulong, pupunta dun sa ridge picture.
Hindi naman ibig sabihin ng masaya kami nakita na ganito na nga, hindi pwede. Iniisipin namin yung mahirap ng tao, paligid, paano sila bubuhay. Diba, hanap buhay nila, wala na.
Meanwhile, business establishments within the 14-kilometer danger zone, which will not comply with a memorandum from the Department of the Interior and Local Government, are facing closure or cancellation of business permits. This include business establishments which have reportedly resumed their operations recently in Tagaytay City. According to Interior Undersecretary Epimaco Densing, no commercial activity is allowed yet within the 14-kilometer danger zone as the Taal Volcano's alert level 4 remains.
No establishment, commercial establishment shall continue to operate until and unless this issue of alert level 4 has been downgraded.
The official adds the DILG can send the Philippine National Police to shut down those business establishments. The DILG also discourages tourists from visiting Tagaytay City.
We are discouraging actually tourists or locals to go up to Tagaytay dahil nasa alert level 4. Mamaya pag akyat nila, biglang sumabog, makakadagdag pa sila sa tutulungan o poprotektahan. So we are really discouraging them from going through the area or even in Tagaytay City.
Rosalie Cos, UNTV News and Rescue.
Farm owners in Tagaytay City appeal for the government's assistance now that their plantations are devastated by the heavy ashfall from Taal Volcano. All the farmers could do now is to wait for help and to accept their loss and make ends meet. Sherwin Kulabong tells us why.
The sudden eruption of the Taal Volcano has turned the once stunning green pineapple farms in Tagaytay City into lifeless, desert-like fields. Farm owner Arlene Atoles says there is nothing left to save in their 2-hectare pineapple and corn plantation.
Ang laki ng gastos namin ho eh.
On the other hand, Reynaldo Cruz, another farm owner, hopes some produce could still be salvaged from his 7,000 pineapple plants now heavily covered with ash.
Ngayon lang nangyari yan. Hindi yan kalikasan. Wala tayong magagawa dyan. Walang may gusto niya. Walang may gusto niya. Hindi naman ako lang ang napinsala. Tinatanggap natin maluwagan. Mahalaga lang buhay tayo. Pagtanim pa tayo.
According to the Department of Agriculture, Taal's eruption has damaged more than 3 billion pesos worth of crops and fishery in Tagaytay City. Residents here appeal for assistance from the government to recover from their losses due to the disaster. Sherwin Kulubong, UNTV News and Rescue, Tagaytay City.
Some motorists might have gotten confused with the free toll offered on the South Luzon Expressway. The SLEX administration will provide guidelines on who can avail of the free toll. Mac Cordova details why.
Vehicles at the Calamba Toll Plaza on the South Luzon Expressway or SLEX reached as long as 12 kilometers on Sunday. Most of those vehicles were used in transporting donations to Filipinos affected by the eruption of the Taal Volcano to the evacuation centers in Batangas. The SLEX management immediately opened their zipper lane at the Calamba Toll Plaza to ease up the heavy traffic. Meanwhile, Manuel Bonoan, President of Skyway Operations and Maintenance Corporation or SOMCO, says the free toll offer on SLEX, Skyway, and Startoll was not clear to motorists and private groups, which led to such heavy traffic.
Medyo nagkaroon yata ng confusion kahapon at gusto ko yata lahat ng may marka na mga sasakyan yata nila kahit ballpen lang po na nakalagay sa bond paper wala naman ho kaming nasabihan ho pag dun sa mga toll plazas na gano'n Kawawa naman ho yung toll tester siya magbabayad po dun sa toll fee pagka hindi ho approved yung yung pagdaan ng sasakyan.
To resolve the issue, SOMCO will release guidelines about the free toll on their 3 expressways. Bonoan clarifies not all motorists can pass through their toll plazas for free because not all vehicles are used to bring donations to affected areas.
May inaayos lang kami na additional features nung namin dito para mas ma-publish yung pagdaloy ng mga traffic na papunta dun sa area. Tomorrow we will be issuing some additional guidelines para mas mapabilis yung travel nila.
SOMCO advises donors to write their office to avail the free toll. Just indicate the schedule of travel, contact person, details of the donations, and details about the vehicles to be used, such as the plate number.
Paano natin ma-distinguish yung yung hindi apektado, yung mga nagbibiyahe na hindi naman papunta sa affected areas? Paano yung mga papunta ng Quezon, papunta ng Bicol, papunta ng dire-diretso sila dyan sa South Luzon Expressway?
Mac Cordova, UNTV News and Rescue.
Distance did not hinder Filipinos in Manitoba to reach out to their compatriots in need after the Taal Volcano's eruption. This is the group's first time to launch a fundraiser. Miguel Moldes reports why.
Instead of using their time and effort to prepare for their anniversary celebration in February, the Talisay Association of Manitoba decided to reach out to Filipinos who are now in need after the recent eruption of one of the Philippines' active volcanoes that has displaced tens of thousands of residents. Some members of the association have relatives in their hometown also affected by the natural disaster. The group launched a donation center inside the Philippine-Canadian Center of Manitoba, which they believe is the fastest, most direct, and best way to reach out to their compatriots in need of assistance.
Gusto namin na personal kami yung manghihingi, na kami na mismo yung magpapadala, na meron kaming kausap sa Pilipinas na tatanggap talaga, na direct na makakukuha ng mga teams at mga evacuees.
Gusto din naming malaman, ipaalam sa lahat ng tao na kung ano man yung tulong na matatanggap natin ay siguradong makakarating sa mga dapat pagbigyan.
The group is set to hold another fundraiser on February 8th. Those who want to take part in the fundraiser may contact the Talisay Association of Manitoba's Facebook group. Miguel Moldes, UNTV News and Rescue, Winnipeg, Canada.
Welcome back to Y News. We pick up to where Angelo Castro III left off. I am Alex Baltazar, and here are the headlines. The Department of the Interior and Local Government orders local government units in Batangas to strictly implement the policy barring people from returning to their homes near Taal Volcano danger areas. Malacanang says it is open to the proposal of Senate to create a Taal Commission that will lead the rehabilitation and recovery efforts in areas affected by the Taal Volcano's eruptions. The DILG reports that 98% of residents within the 14-kilometer danger zone from Taal Volcano's crater have already evacuated. President Rodrigo Duterte leads the distribution of assistance to families affected by the Taal Volcano eruption. And rescuers pluck abandoned mentally ill men in a town near the Taal Volcano. Good evening. A man whose video of the Taal Volcano has made rounds on social media explains his actions and feelings amid criticisms. And that clip is no ordinary video for him. June Soria will tell us why.
When the first phreatic explosion of the Taal Volcano happened January 12th, Dan Albert Hernandez was at the volcano's crater. He recounts, in less than an hour, the water at the crater dried up. After witnessing that, he decided to evacuate. He returned to the Taal Volcano Island together with two relatives on January 16. He took video footage of the situation on the island at that time and posted it on social media. And because of that, he has been criticized by other people. Albert explains he is not acting like he knows more than the volcano experts and authorities.
Hindi ko binidyan para magpasikat lang po kasi napakahalaga po sa akin ng lugar. Ganun po kahalaga sa akin lugar. Kahit kung may nangyari man po sa akin masama doon, wala pong dapat sisihin. Hindi po dapat sisihin ba kundi sa akin lang.
On that same day, Albert and his brother-in-law and cousin evacuated their horses. Albert also reveals he could not resist returning to their home right about on the volcano island, where he has formed a family of his own and earned a living decently like his forefathers.
Para sa akin po sa pakaramdam ko, parang yung tira namin, parang ginunaw ng mundo namin.
For the eyes of his critics, what he did might be wrong, but all he asked for our support and understanding to stand up once again and recover from this loss brought by nature.
Sila po, hindi ko na po sila iniintindi. Wala naman po kwenta yung mga sinasabi na kasi hindi naman po nila alam mga pinagdadaanan. Kung sa kanila po mangyayari, baka maisip nila na tama ang ginagawa ko.
Jun Suriao, UNTV, News and Rescue, Lipa City.
The Department of the Interior and Local Government calls on the local government units affected by the Taal Volcano eruption crisis to ban their evacuees from returning to their homes. Rosalie Cos reports why.
Stop implementing window hours. This is the call of the Department of the Interior and Local Government to local government units affected by the Taal Volcano eruption crisis. According to Interior Undersecretary Epimako Densing, no one knows when the anticipated hazardous explosive eruption of the Taal Volcano will occur. The official says the local governments should stop implementing the so-called window hours, through which residents are given a few hours to return to their homes to check on their properties, get supplies, or feed their livestock.
Pero inuulit ho namin as of the moment, ating pong dinedirect yung ating mga local DRIMC or local disaster risk reduction and management council sa bawat lokalidad, no, na wag na pong payagang makapasok dun sa 14-kilometer radius or danger zone na in-identify po ng PHIVOLCS.
The volcano remains on alert level 4 because of its restiveness, hinting the possibility of a hazardous explosive eruption. The DILG also recognizes local chief executives' efforts of strictly monitoring the conditions of their constituents. This is despite the fact they themselves are affected by the crisis, which no one knows how long will last.
We laud them for being in their area of responsibility since the beginning. Isang araw pagkatapos sumabog ang Bulkang Taal, all 34 local chief executives of Batangas and 23 mayors of Cavite were in their areas of responsibility. And as of yesterday, all 142 local chief executives of Regions 3, 4A, 4B, and NCR are all in their areas of responsibility.
Rosalie Cos, UNTV, News and Rescue.
Malacanang says it is open to the proposal to create a Taal Commission. Meanwhile, Senator Bongo supports the recommendation. Bernardades tells us why.
The Duterte administration will mull over the proposal made by Senator Ralph Recto to create a Taal Commission. The lawmaker, a local of Batangas province, will submit the resolution to Senate. It aims to create the commission that will lead the rehabilitation and recovery efforts in areas affected by the Taal Volcano's eruptions. The idea is derived from the Pinatubo Commission established after the devastating eruptions of Mount Pinatubo in 1991 with the same mandates. According to Presidential Spokesperson and Chief Presidential Legal Counsel Salvador Panelo, all proposals that will help those affected by the recent natural calamity are welcome and will be studied by the administration. Panelo says it is up to the President if he will certify the proposal urgent once filed in the upper house of the Congress. According to Senator Bongo, he supports any proposal that will help Filipinos immediately return to their normal lives.
Maaari, pwede naman po. Kung makakabuti po sa rehabilitation ng Taal, bakit hindi? Ako, susuportado ko yan. Kung ano po yung mabilis na makabalik po sila sa restore back to normalcy yung buhay ng tao dun sa hirap. Ang dami pong nawawalan ng trabaho, nawawalan ng hanap buhay.
Senator Go also reiterates the importance of establishing a Department of Resilience that will handle not just the situation after a calamity, but even while it is happening. Bernard Dadis, UNTV News and Rescue, Manila.
The Provincial Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Office immediately coordinated with the Philippine Coast Guard regarding 2 men with mental illness living in Agoncillo, Batangas. Authorities also ensured 2 residents will be reunited with their families amid the forced evacuation and lockdown that prevail in the town. Aiko Miguel will tell us why.
Task Force Taal of the Philippine Coast Guard went to Barangay Bilindiwang, Agoncillo Town in Batangas yesterday to respond to a call from the Provincial Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Office. According to the PDRRMO, 2 men suffering from mental illness had been left by their families when a forced evacuation was implemented across the town. The Task Force Taal personnel were shocked to see the situation of the 2 men, starving, thirsty, and lacking care for several days. They were immediately rescued by Task Force Taal, given something to eat and drink, and brought to the town proper.
Mga alas 3 ng hapon, natagpuan nila na yung isa nakakulong pa. Walang information kung ilang araw na nakahiwan doon, ano? Pero parang ang sabi sa amin, mga gutom na gutom. Aming iniisip na baka binabalikan niya ng mga kamag-anak. Pero dahil sa completely hindi na pinapayagan yung mga tao na bumalik sa Agoncillo muna, baka gano'n ang nangyari, napabayaan na.
According to PCG spokesman Captain Armand Balilo, a medical check-up has been conducted on the rescuees. The 2 has been turned over to the Regional Emergency Response Team of Cavite.
Bahala na yung OCD, sila na yung mga ngalaga at makipag-ugnayan doon sa mga kamag-anak ng dalawa.
The PCG once again reminds residents in areas affected by the Taal Volcano eruption to heed the warnings and advice of authorities. Fishermen must not venture out into Taal Lake while Alert Level 4 remains.
Hindi po ang Philippine Coast Guard na nag-utos na huwag bumalik ang NDR mo po, at yun po ay papatupad namin habang nakataas pa po yung alert level doon sa vicinity ng bulkan ng Taal.
Aiko Miguel, UNTV News and Rescue, Manila.
Almost all residents in the 14-kilometer radius from the Taal Volcano crater have been evacuated. DILG Secretary Eduardo Año says the evacuation of the remaining 2% is underway. Laya Ilagan details why.
Department of the Interior and Local Government Secretary Eduardo Año reveals that most of the residents within the 14-kilometer radius from the Taal Volcano's main crater have already been evacuated. Año says 98% of the residents are now in evacuation areas.
Our teams on the ground continue to monitor and evaluate the conditions in LGUs as they happen and report actions or inactions taken or not taken by them, especially on the mandatory evacuation of...
He adds that the full force of the 142 local government executives in the National Capital Region, Region 3, Region 4A, and Region 4B are assisting the displaced residents.
We also support the decision of LGUs to declare a lockdown on these barangays. We commend the Philippine National Police for maintaining law and order in the affected areas, leading the search and rescue operations, securing the evacuation centers, delivering relief goods, and supporting the LGUs.
ANYO clarifies they have no records of looting and casualties as of today. The 3 deaths recently reported were caused by illnesses and not because of the Taal Volcano.
The 3 cases reported in media were mainly due to their pre-existing medical condition and not directly related to the eruption.
Based on the data from the NDRRMC, 200,000 individuals are affected by the Taal Volcano's eruption. Leia Ilagan, UNTV, News and Rescue, Camp Crame.
President Rodrigo Duterte visited displaced families temporarily taking shelter in Santo Tomas, Batangas. The president urges Congress to create measures to build larger evacuation centers in disaster-prone areas. From Santo Tomas, Batangas, Vincent Arboleda will tell us why live. Yes, Vincent, go ahead.
Good evening, Alex. President Rodrigo Duterte personally visited evacuees here in Santo Tomas, Batangas earlier today. This is to lead the distribution of relief assistance to thousands of families affected by the eruption of the Taal Volcano. Relief goods coming from the Department of Social Welfare and Development, hygiene kits, sleeping mats, and coffee seedlings from the Department of Agriculture were just some of the donations to displaced families now temporarily taking shelter in the town. Financial assistance from the Department of Agriculture and the Philippine Crop Insurance was also given to farmers whose lands have been heavily covered with ashes. President Duterte said he may be able to help the national housing authorities in assisting the families to rebuild their homes.
Alam mo, sa nakita ko at itong Taal na ito, pang matagalan to. Kaya in the meantime, mapaplano tayo kung paano, how you would negotiate from the time na nandito kayo hanggang pag-uwi ninyo. Malaking pera yan. Pero ang gobyerno may pera. May pera ang gobyerno para tumulong.
The president further said a supplemental budget may be needed as the budget for this year does not include devastating calamities such as the eruption of the Taal Volcano. President Duterte may also have to ask the help of the National Treasury to aid in such measures. After seeing the state of the evacuees at the gymnasium of the Polytechnic University of the Philippines in Santo Tomas, Batangas, the president urges Congress to formulate measures to build large evacuation centers in disaster-prone areas.
Wala tayong pagkukulang. Ang problema lang, itong accommodations ninyo. Kaya I am urging Congress na sa lahat ng mga prone areas ng disaster, ito hindi naman masyado, pero ang Batangas niya tamaan rin ng bagyo. Magkaroon ng evacuation center na malalaki, lalo na yung probinsya na nakaharap sa Pacific Ocean, and that would be Samar, Isabela, yun, Cagayan, yun ang nakaharap doon, pati dito.
According to the president, the construction of larger evacuation centers is a must due to the anticipated major eruption of the Taal Volcano. The chief executive also gave his assurance that there are funds from the government for the assistance. He adds he will make sure that the following funds will reach the affected families. And that's the latest live. Back to you, Alex.
Thank you, Vincent Arboleda, reporting live from Santo Tomas, Batangas. Members, Church of God International and UNTV conduct free basic trading course in Malaysia. The participants say this training will open doors for new opportunities. Jo Antongol will tell us why.
To start the year 2020, members of Church of God International or MCGI in Malaysia, in cooperation with UNTV, conducted a free training course on basic trading in Kuala Lumpur. The objective is to teach not only Filipinos in the Malaysian capital, but also locals on how to invest and profit from stock markets, forex, cryptocurrencies, and other forms of trade. Lawrence Pu and Aisha are among the Malaysians who attended the training.
You have to learn, you have to analyze, you have to keep up, and the most interesting is, this is the real world business. It's about money.
The trainees say they are utmost grateful for the new skills and additional knowledge they acquired during the training. According to them, this will open new sources of income besides their current job.
So sa training na to, meron kang option tsaka meron kang idea na gagawin pagka if ever man gusto mo na umuwi ng Pinas sa training na to, malaking may tutulong niya.
They also added another advantage of this training is that it's free. Commonly, fee for this kind of training costs around 8,000 Malaysian ringgit or equivalent to 100,000 Philippine peso. This free trading course training is just one of the public services being rendered by MCGI. In the previous year, MCGI held a free medical consultation for OFWs and visited an orphanage here in Malaysia. Because of this, the Philippine Overseas and Labor Office or POLO of the Philippine Embassy in Malaysia has recognized MCGI as an ally that will support and help implement programs and services that will help the Filipino workers in Malaysia. Jo Antongol, UNTV News and Rescue, Malaysia.
And to complete the most significant news for this day, Y News continues. Here are the top stories. Commuters may have to bid goodbye to motorcycle taxis starting next week. However, this did not sit well with some senators who lament the lack of data and analysis on the transport regulators. Harleen Delgado reports why.
The Department of Transportation Technical Working Group has recommended to terminate the pilot test run of motorcycle taxis. The DOT or TWG announced it today during the Senate Committee on Public Services hearing on the legalization of motorcycle taxis that it will stop the pilot test run. According to the transport regulators, the temporary restraining orders issued by local courts originating from the cases filed against them by Angkas for putting a 10,000 rider cap has been preventing them from a full implementation.
Ba't tinitigilan na ninyo yung programa?
Kasi po hindi kami makagalaw because marami pong legal impediments along the way. Yung pong maglagay po namin ng guidelines, hindi po sinusunod.
But the senators disagree. For some of them, the move seems to be a form of revenge for the legal obstacles they have faced. The committee also asked about the number of road accidents involving motorcycle taxis, but the transport regulators failed to present data. But the TWG contends the records of road accidents involving motorcycles from the Philippine National Police Highway Patrol Group and the Metropolitan Manila Development Authority or MMDA do not specify motorcycle taxis.
Hindi ba ninyo naisip na sa darating na linggo, pag manghuli kayo ng mga riders, either babalik yan sa pagiging illegal ng pagpapatakbo at yung ating mga kababayan mawawala ng alternatibong masasakyan.
Mali-mali na yung ginagawa ng TWG at kayo pa yung galit. Ha? Wala nga kayong report ngayon tungkol sa nangyari noong nakaraang 6 na buwan Anong gusto niyong i-amenda sa batas? Meron ba kayo sinasabi sa amin dito? Wala.
The transport regulators were also pressed to explain the basis of capping the number of drivers per motorcycle taxi, but the TWG refused, citing once again the TRO. Angkas has vowed to work with the transport regulators to reverse its recommendation and resume the pilot test run.
Ang gusto po talaga namin is to cooperate with the government. Wag po natin pangunahan kung ano yung mangyayari. I think this is a positive development on both sides po.
Senator Christopher Bongo says he will ask President Rodrigo Duterte and Transport Secretary Arthur Tugade to let the pilot test run continue. Senator Grace Poe, meanwhile, has asked the TWG to reconsider their termination.
Hindi namin sila titigilan ng patatawag namin sila ng patatawag hanggat hindi nila talagang ikinukonsidera yan.
Jorlene Delgado, UNTV News and Rescue, Senate of the Philippines.
Meanwhile, fuel companies have announced a reduction in prices of their petroleum products, which will take effect this week. Sea Oil implemented a 90 centavo per liter price rollback in gasoline, 1 peso and 65 centavos per liter rollback in kerosene, and 1 peso and 70 centavos per liter on diesel on today. Meanwhile, Petrogas and Shell will implement oil price cuts tomorrow at 6 o'clock a.m. Diesel and gasoline prices of Petrogas will be reduced by 1 peso and 70 centavos per liter and 85 centavos per liter respectively. Shell will have a similar price reduction on its diesel and gasoline products on the same day, while kerosene will be priced 1 peso and 65 centavos per liter. Meanwhile, Clean Fuel already implemented its reduced fuel prices on Sunday. Price movements in world oil market triggered this drop in local pump prices. In other news, after months of waiting, the Philippines now has a new Philippine National Police Chief in the person of Police General Archie Gamboa. Who is General Gamboa? What has he accomplished so far in his career, and what are his priorities as the country's top cop? Leia Ilagan reports.
President Rodrigo Duterte has appointed former Philippine National Police Officer in Charge General Archie Gamboa as the 23rd PNP Chief. General Gamboa is a known member of the Davao Boys in the PNP. Aside from his assignment in the Davao Regional Office as a spokesperson and Deputy Comptroller, he has also lived in Davao. He was the director of the PNP Directorate for Controllership before he became a member of the PNP Command Group. Gamboa served as the PNP OIC since October 14 after former PNP Chief Oscar Albayalde availed an early retirement because of being involved in the Ninja Cups issue. The new PNP chief is a member of Philippine Military Academy Sinagtala class of 1986, just like former PNP chiefs Senator Ronald Bato de la Rosa and Albayalde. Gamboa will retire on September 2 this year at the mandatory retirement age of 56. The campaign against illegal drugs and internal cleansing are the priority of Gamboa's leadership.
So these are the two primary programs which I started when I was still the Oversight Committee Chairman, when I was Deputy Chief for Operations, and then when I assumed as OIC, and now as UPNP, this will be my priority.
He also wants to end the kidnapping of Chinese nationals perpetrated by Chinese.
We will be establishing probably a Chinese desk, and cross-training on language, on the culture, so that mas maintindihan natin why they're doing this and how they're going to do it.
General Gamboa confirms that performance evaluation on regional directors, Director of National Support Unit and directorial staff are ongoing. A reshuffle in key positions will soon take place.
Ito namang evaluation na to, it did not just come from thin air. Alam na to ng lahat ng mga dapat na ma-evaluate since October, just during our January 7 Command Conference. It was also publicly announced in the conference on the ratings of the different commanders on the field.
One of the vacant positions now is the Chief Directorial Staff, or the fourth man of the PNP, after the appointment of General Gamboa as the new PNP Chief. Chief Directorial Staff Police Lieutenant General Guillermo Eliazar gets automatically promoted as the number 3 man of the PNP or Deputy Chief for Operations, while Police Lieutenant General Camilo Cascolan will be the second in command as Deputy Chief for Administration. Leia Ilagan, UNTV News and Rescue, Camp Crame.
60 containers of garbage illegally dumped in Misamis Oriental in 2018 was sent back to South Korea yesterday. The remaining mixed waste, which was falsely declared as plastic synthetic, is expected to be sent back by February 9. John Simon, port collector of the Northern Mindanao Customs Bureau, said the return of the illegally dumped garbage shows the Philippines' readiness and resolve to bring this dumping controversy to its just conclusion.
It took quite some time. Until we had a big number already, that's the time we declared to the whole world and to the whole Philippines, handa na po natin ipatapon yan.
South Korea's unwanted waste, which was discovered by authorities in July 2018, isn't the first instance of a developed country dumping its waste in the Philippines. Last year, Canada took back 69 containers of garbage 5 years after it was dumped in the Philippines. The waste was mislabeled as recyclable plastics when in fact it contained household wastes, including soiled diapers. The United States of America President Donald Trump has invited President Rodrigo Duterte and 9 other leaders of the Association of Southeast Asian Nations for the U.S.-ASEAN Summit in March. Trump previously invited the ASEAN leaders on November 1st, 2019, and reiterated his invitation on January 9, 2020. However, presidential spokesperson Salvador Panelo said there is still no official response on whether President Duterte will accept the invitation of the U.S. president. Trump's invitation to President Duterte came despite the recent U.S. legislation which bans the entry of all Philippine officials supposedly behind the arrest and continued detention of Senator Laila de Lima. And for the news abroad, here's R.L. Kamiya reporting live from Takatsuka, Japan. R.L., good evening.
Good evening, William. Chinese authorities confirmed that an outbreak of coronavirus in China is spreading to more cities. 139 new cases were confirmed over the weekend, including a third death. Kath Dumaraos details this report.
Acute respiratory syndrome, which over the weekend saw 136 new cases, including 2 in Beijing and 1 in Shenzhen. Health authorities in Hubei, province's capital Wuhan, with a population of 11 million and where the outbreak is thought to have originated, said the third death occurred Saturday. The source also said 36 of the 136 new coronavirus victims are in a serious or critical situation. Among the newly infected, 70 are women and 66 are men, aged between 25 and 89, and all of them show the same symptoms: fever and fatigue, dry cough, and in many cases, dyspnea or difficulty breathing. So far, 2 cases have also been confirmed in Thailand and 1 in Japan. There was a further scare in South Korea, but no cases were confirmed in the country. According to the World Health Organization, Chinese laboratories have already sequenced the coronavirus genome and provided that data to the global health community to help diagnose possible cases outside their country. Kat Dumaraos, UNTV News and Rescue.
Canada's federal government was mobilizing its armed forces to help Newfoundland and Labrador dig out from the monster blizzard that paralyzed eastern regions of the province with record-breaking amounts of snow, and as forecasts call for more. Newfoundland Premier Dwight Ball asked for Ottawa's help on Saturday, and Minister of Natural Resources Siemens Organ said the federal government was working to deploy all available resources on the ground in St. John's. No details were immediately announced. However, Organ said that ensuring access to the city's main hospital would be a top priority. Canadian Armed Forces Operations said they hope to arrive as early as Sunday to help the affected communities. Their expected tasks will include assisting with snow removal, providing transportation to warming or emergency centers, and ensuring the elderly and those with health concerns are cared for. St. John's Sunday morning had lifted some restrictions on the state of emergency. Private snow contractors were being allowed to help clear snow. Gas stations were permitted to open to provide fuel for snow clearing, and pharmacies were permitted to open from noon until 7 p.m. for emergency medication needs. United Nations Secretary-General Antonio Guterres has said that major powers are fully committed to a peaceful resolution in Libya after a summit in Berlin. World leaders have pledged not to interfere in Libya's ongoing civil conflict and have vowed to uphold a UN arms embargo. Jovic Bermas has this story.
The international allies of the Libyan government, backed by the United Nations and the country's rebel forces, on Sunday agreed to implement the ceasefire launched a week ago and the undecreed embargo on weapons imports. The accord was reached at an international conference on Libya in Berlin, organized by the German government and the UN, and attended by the president of the internationally recognized Government of National Accord based in the capital of Tripoli, Fayez al-Sarraj, who is supported by Turkey, and the head of the Libyan National Army, military strongman Khalifa Haftar, backed by Russia, who controls his forces from Tobruk.
And I hope the commitments made today will create the conditions for a lasting solution of the Libya crisis. It is our collective responsibility to seize this opportunity and to ensure that these commitments become a reality.
The agreement achieved by the parties is a comprehensive and binding plan that does not resolve all the problems but provides a push toward a diplomatic solution. German Chancellor Angela Merkel said that the arms embargo must be strongly monitored to ensure it is abided by, and that the entire agreement, if it is to have international validity, must now be approved by the UN Security Council. The document commits the parties to a lasting and verifiable truce and urges all actors to unequivocally comply with the arms embargo. It also demands that they refrain from contributing to escalating the conflict. In addition, it states that the solution to the overall crisis in Libya can only come via a political process that must be controlled and led by the Libyans themselves, as well as insisting on the need to maintain the unity of the country, its territorial integrity, and national sovereignty. Political turmoil and unrest have plagued Libya since the 2011 overthrow and execution of longtime dictator Muammar Gaddafi. Jovic Bermas, UNTV News and Rescue.
And those are the stories from around the globe. Back to you, William.
Thank you, R.L. Kamiya, reporting live from Takatsuka, Japan. NHA Builders and PITC Global Traders win at the start of the round-robin quarterfinals of the UNTV Cup Season 8. Winning coach Bennett Palad was not content despite the win, while Magis coach admitted their weak offense. Bernard Dadis will tell us why.
Coach Rodney Santos' teams, the Agriculture Food Masters, displayed explosive offense in the opening of their battle against PITC Global Traders, which earned them an 8-point advantage in the first quarter, 9-17. But Coach Vic Igasiano of the other camp immediately put the fire out with the help of Brian Regalado, who converted 4 shots from the Rainbow Country, and Rod Basalio, who made 9 points to turn the tables and end the first half with a huge margin, 44-29. While the third quarter was completed at 66-41. In the final period, Emerson Oreta and Christian De Matera led the Food Masters offensively, but the efforts were not enough to demolish the Global Traders, who succeeded in the 13-point game.
Hard work. Medyo nakalamang kami doon sa tao-tao nung start. Medyo wala kami sa kumpas. Pero nakuha rin namin nung second quarter. So nakaangat kami, tuloy-tuloy na.
Ryan Regalado and Luis Lopez were both hailed as the best players of the game. Meanwhile, two-time champion Judiciary Magis fell to Season 7 third placer NHA Builders after a tough neck-and-neck battle. Best player of the game, Alvin Vitug, made a double-double game record, 21 points, 11 rebounds, 2 assists, and a steal to lead the Builders to a 67-59 victory. Multi-season MVP Antonio Lustestica Jr. contributed 14 points and big man Marvin Mercado 12 points. Despite the win, Coach Bennett Palad says he was not quite satisfied with his players' performance.
Ang dami namin errors ang dami namin turnovers, di ba? Yung depensa namin pumutok lang nung huli. Yun ang malaking tulong, malaking faktor kaya kami nanalo.
While Magis coach Joey Yabut admits their weak offense.
Yung shooting namin, hindi namin ako-convert. Di tulad ng mga previous na wins namin, kaya hindi lumuluwag yung gitna.
Watch out for more games in the UNTV Cup Season 8 quarterfinals in a single round-robin schedule. Bernard Dadis, UNTV News and Rescue, Manila.
There are many firsts in this year's Wish Music Awards. Groups and bands dominated the awards night. The FM station also hailed its first Hall of Famer and paid tribute to industry heroes through new special awards. Aiko Miguel will tell us why.
Continuing its tradition in its 5th year, Wish 1075 Music Awards recognize the people who have given significant contributions to the thriving Filipino music industry. Over 60 music acts vied for 18 categories at the 5th WMA held last night at the Mall of Asia Arena. Compared to last year, the Wish Music Awards was dominated by music groups. 9-piece folk band Ben and Ben bagged the award for the Group of the Year and the Urban Performance of the Year for their track, Pagtingin. Ben and Ben expressed that these acknowledgements are merely a reflection of their love for each other as a band.
Salamat Wish for always supporting not only us but every single artist na na-interview nyo kanina at every single artist na nandito ngayong gabi.
Ben and Ben bested bands such as this band 4 of Spades and December Avenue, which were also nominated for the Group of the Year category. Filipino boy group SB19 won the Breakthrough Artist of the Year award. The fast-rising boy band was also able to get the Pop Performance of the Year for their dance track Go Up.
Yeah, we gonna go up. Ibibigay ko ang aking puso sa pag-abot ng pangarap dito.
Wish was pa lang po nung nalaman namin na magpa-perform kami. Halos hindi na po kami makatulog. Pero winning an award dito sa Wish Music Awards, grabe po, panaginip po talaga to. Pili ko po, tulog pa kami hanggang ngayon na nanaginip kami.
Funk rock band 4 of Spades also took 2 awards home. The Rock or Alternative Performance of the Year for their song Bawat Kaluluwa and Rock or Alternative Song of the Year for their collaboration with singer-songwriter Rico Blanco titled Nagbabalik. Casey Tandingan also won an award for her song Quicksand in the Ballad Performance of the Year category. She was also named as the radio station's Artist of the Year.
Walang kalaban-laban o pumalabsay.
Hindi ko talaga in-expect. Tapos, wala lang, super nakaka-proud yung memory na yon of me recording the song in the bus. Parang ngayon nagkaroon ng tangible, parang tangible remembrance.
Singers Morissette and Darren Espanto's collaboration for the Disney song A Whole New World got the award for Collaboration of the Year. Major award winners got a 25,000 pesos cash prize, while their respective beneficiaries were also given 100,000 pesos. For the first time, Wish 1075 hailed Asia's Phoenix Morissette, a Wish Hall of Famer, for bagging a total of 10 major awards, 5 special recognitions, and 12 Elite Circle awards in the past 5 years.
I really do owe so much of where I am now because of Wish. I'm very, very grateful. And thank you from the bottom of my heart. This is my family's dream, just to be able to touch lives with music and to be able to do that and so much more. It is my joy.
Meanwhile, the 5th WMA also paid tribute to industry heroes through 2 new special awards, which are named after the main man behind Wish 1075, Kuya Daniel Razon. First is the KDR Icon of Music and Philanthropy Award, which was awarded to premier violinist Alfonso Cook Bolipata. Bolipata runs the Casa San Miguel Foundation, which caters the Playing It Forward mentorship program, which teaches children from all walks of life to play a musical instrument, draw, paint, and write for free.
This valuable recognition is an unexpected honor and an inspiring reminder that what we do has value.
The KDR Icon of Musical Excellence Award, meanwhile, was given to Maestro Ryan Cayabyab for his exemplary contributions for the Filipino music and helping new Filipino artists.
Wow, kasi it's the first time they're giving out this type of award. And secondly, alam nyo, ang laki ng tulong ng ginawa ng Wish sa OPM. Kaya sabi ko, mabilis akong sumagot ng oo dahil yes, kasi alam ko silang isa sa mga instrumento. Isang napakalaking instrumento ang Wish 1075 for doing something like this. Especially yung ginagawa na mga bago, especially mga bagong artista, mga bagong songs sumalabas dahil dyan.
Aside from the awards, fans also enjoyed the performances prepared by their favorite music acts. Aiko Miguel, UNTV News and Rescue, Philippines.
Another innovation in the music industry awaits wishers as well as Filipino music artists. This as music entwines with charity. Mon Hokson reports.
Another one-of-a-kind public service initiated by Kuya Daniel Razon is on the way. The Wish Olympics, to be participated in by original Filipino music or OPM artists, will commence in February as announced by the man behind the innovative FM station at the 5th Wish Music Awards held in the Mall of Asia Arena Sunday night.
Magkakaroon parang musical showdown. So parang before they engage din sa game ng basketball and volleyball, merong musical showdown kasi mga artist. So,
Filipino music icons have expressed their interest in joining the Wish Olympics.
Kami lagi, basta pagtulong sa kapwa. Dahil nakita namin si Kuya, libo-libo talaga yung tinutulungan niya. Kaya na-inspire kami na syempre, dapat tayo rin, tumulong din tayo sa ibang kapwa.
Game ako para supportan yung Wish para sa mga kababayan natin na nasa lanta.
According to Kuya Daniel, the Wish Olympics will be an augmentation to what UNTV News and Rescue has been doing since the Taal Volcano erupted on January 12, relief operations and medical missions in Batangas. Those will be continued by Wish FM. Kuya Daniel added that public service has always been a component of Wish FM.
Kasi yun ang primary na gusto nating magawa. May pagpatuloy natin yung ating mga charity works, yung ating mga public services. So talagang yun ang major component talaga natin. Parang naging palamuti na lang din natin yung ibang mga bagay. Pero doon tayo talaga nakakonsentrate na to be able to continue doing good to our fellow men.
Music is what feelings sound like. Music can be even more felt with charity straight from the heart. Mon Hokson, UNTV News and Rescue.
And those are the reasons behind the news this January 20, 2020. On behalf of Alex Baltazar and Angelo Castro III, I am William Theo. Because we need to know, we will always ask why. Good evening.